Hey guys, Trey here. Wanted to do a little severe weather discussion for today's potential severe weather event in parts of the Texas Panhandle, western Oklahoma, and into southwestern Kansas. It's a pretty marginal day today, but there's definitely a chance for some isolated severe potential out in those regions. SPC has highlighted a marginal risk for those areas with a 2% tornado risk as well as a 5% hail risk. So let's go ahead and dive in here, and this is a pretty interesting storm system for February. If we take a look at our observed 500 millibar map from this morning, you see we have a very nice, well-defined closed low moving over the Four Corners region. That'll move eastward today with a 60 to 75 knot jet max rotating around the base of the trough. If we look at the surface now, we can see that you can see the surface circulation right there, somewhat located somewhere near Guyman, Boise City area of the Oklahoma Panhandle. That will strengthen and move to the east today as well, slowly. And here's a little better depiction of that in the SPC Analysis. You can see the pressure contours. That low is located right over the Oklahoma Panhandle, parts of the northern Texas Panhandle. So if we look at satellite, we see that also very clearly. Our low is in here with lots of precipitation and clouds occurring right now over much of Oklahoma. Here's our current radar. Lots of rain over western Oklahoma, moving toward the Oklahoma City metro area as we speak. But here is our surface low. We can see pretty clear skies underneath that surface low, and this is going to be a pretty classic cold core setup. So if we have here's our 500 millibar low, that'll move to the east today, located somewhere over southern Colorado, northeast New Mexico by late this afternoon. And then as we go to the surface, our surface low is going to be located pretty close to that, just to the east of that over the Oklahoma Panhandle, northern Texas Panhandle into southwestern Kansas. And this is very, very reminiscent of Jon Davies' work with cold core 500 millibar lows. He highlighted this in his 2006 paper that we're taking a look at here. But this is just a typical composite map for cold core setups. Again, you have your 500 millibar low and your surface low located just to the east of that upper level low center, pretty close together. And then you have your frontal zones extending from that surface low with some sort of surface heating axis feeding up into the triple point area. And you're most likely to see tornadoes at that kind of triple point junction just to the east northeast of the surface low. So if we take another look at our surface map, here we see here's our low pressure system. We have some semblance of a cold front here extending back into New Mexico. And then to the east, our warm front is located probably somewhere along the Oklahoma-Kansas border. Probably easier to see with the pressure contours. Yeah, here's our cold front extending back into New Mexico along that pressure tongue. And then we have our warm front. A little hard to say where exactly it is. Probably somewhere in here in north central to central Oklahoma at this point. We're going to have apparently lots of sunshine here as the day progresses. Right near our surface low, we're going to have lots of sunshine, lots of surface heating. Those lapse rates aloft are going to steepen. But here's our issue. We take a look at the Oklahoma Mesonet map of dew point temperatures. This is pretty darn meager for even a cold core setup. You're not going to need 65, 70 dew points for a cold core type tornado setup, but you'd like to see dew points in the low to even mid 50s, and we're not even close to that here in our target area. We're only seeing 43 in Beaver, Oklahoma, 44 in Slapout, Oklahoma, 45 in Woodward, with marginal mid 40s down here in southern Oklahoma, southwest Oklahoma. That does not bode well for severe potential, for tornado potential later on today. So this is a classic cold core setup, as we just discussed, but our dew points in the warm sector are really lacking. We really would like to see those in the low 50s. That just does not look like it's going to happen. If we look at our surface map, our regional surface map, we see our 50s dew points are all the way down here near the San Antonio area. So we're probably the best we're going to do is probably mid 40s up here in just to the east of the low, which is probably going to hurt our tornado potential today. But we have really cold air aloft. If we look at the temperatures aloft this morning, we see minus 24 here over Phoenix, minus 20 over western New Mexico, minus 20 up here in Utah at 500 millibars. That is pretty darn cold air. So we're going to get lapse rates, at least mid-level lapse rates that will steepen. So we'll probably have some instability aloft. The concern is that we are not going to be able to get a parcels through that stable layer near the surface because of our really marginal dew points. Here's this morning's 12Z OUN sounding from Norman, and this is just not what we want to see on a potential severe weather day if we're looking to get out and chase. This is just pretty poor. 48 over 39 with just absolutely no instability here. Really big warm nose in the low to mid levels, and that is present across the region. Here's the Lamont sounding, same thing, 47 over 39 with just absolutely no instability. And let's take a look at our Dodge City sounding. Again, same thing, our low level stable layer. It's going to be tough to break with the extent of low level moisture as it is right now. We'll take a look at one more Amarillo, and we see again it's present there as well. Just not what we want to see on a tornado day if we're looking for tornadoes. I think the best we're going to be able to do here in our target area, northeast Oklahoma and the Panhandles, is going to be probably mid 40s dew points. Probably 46, 47, 48 is attainable. Low 50s probably out of the question right now. So what we've gathered here from our little forecast here is that this is going to be a classic cold core setup. It's going to be a classic cold core setup. The problem is moisture is going to be lacking even for a cold core type setup. But that doesn't mean we're not going to get storms. Let's take a look at some of the CAM outputs. Again, we have the large scale forcing, we have the surface low, we have enough moisture to get storms going. Tornadoes, probably a different story, but we do have enough moisture to get tornadoes, or to get thunderstorms going up there. Let's take a look at the HUR run from 15Z. This is the latest HUR run. And again, we see some stronger storms up here into the Oklahoma Panhandle, moving into southern Kansas. But again, just looks pretty weak multicellular convection. Maybe some transient supercells in here. And if we take a look at some soundings here on the pivotal weather site, this is the we'll go ahead to the 15Z run here. So this is as the storms are firing up. This is the Oklahoma-Texas border in the Panhandles. And just that doesn't make any sense at all. Probably a bad sounding there, but we'll go ahead out here a little bit farther to the east into Oklahoma near Buffalo. And yeah, so this stable layer near the surface is very concerning. And the HUR is showing 55-degree dew points. Now, with this surface map as we see it now, that is probably extremely overdone, and probably a result of convection. If we take a look at that same sounding again, you'll notice the vertical motion bars over here are showing a response from convection that's probably smoothing these profiles out and giving us a much more instability and better dew points than we would expect to see. Wind profile looks good, definitely a supercell wind profile. A large looping photographs in the low levels, but again, I think this is very much overdone, and parcels will have a tough time breaking through that stable layer. Let's go ahead and look at progged dew points here from the HRRR. Yeah, and you can see here, this is showing 55, 56, 57 dew points up near the low, and that is way too high. probably, definitely a result of convection, and this is definitely overdone with barely mid 40s dew points in southwest Oklahoma and our 50s dew points relegated to South Texas. We are just not going to see 55 dew points in our target area today. That'd be nice for if we'd like to see tornadoes, but definitely not going to be the case today. Let's go ahead and look at the high-res NAM. We'll take a look at the high-res NAM from 12Z this morning. Let's take a look at the dew points first. A little bit more reasonable. I think this might still even be overdone. This is at 0Z tonight. You can see this splotchy kind of higher dew points. That is definitely a result of thunderstorms and not a legitimate response from moisture advection due to the strengthening surface cyclone. So if we look at 0Z, our reflectivity product, yeah, just not much in the way of supercellular convection, lots of multicells, maybe a transient supercell or two, but just doesn't look that great as far as sustained tornadic supercells today. We'll look at the NSSL WRF here for another potential outcome for today's setup. And again, just not much in the way of supercellular convection. Just the dew points are going to be much too marginal to get tornadic supercells today, I think. You never know with cold core setups, but yeah, this is a more realistic, even this model showing a heightened dew points due to the convection, but surrounding that, yeah, 40, 48, 49 degree dew points out ahead of that, that's probably pretty realistic. I wouldn't expect much more than that. And with surface temperatures into the 60s, 61 over 48 or so, that's for a setup like this, that's kind of marginal. So all in all, not really expecting much in the way of tornadic supercells today, and it's really because of moisture. Otherwise, this would be a classic cold core setup. If this was in March, this would be a chase 100%. But just not seeing it today with the lack of moisture. We'll continue to monitor this throughout the day, see if the dew points change at all and the moisture situation changes at all. But as of now, it looks pretty darn unlikely that we'll see anything big. Probably some stronger multicells with some small hail due to the very cold temperatures aloft and the steep mid-level lapse rates. But again, we're going to be stable at the surface, just not enough low-level instability to really get things going. And if we look at we'll go back to the SPC mesoanalysis page, and a field that I like to look at for these kind of cold core setups is surface vorticity in 3 kilometer cape, 0 to 3 kilometer cape. So the blue contours here are the surface vorticity, so the spin near the surface. I look at this product for landspout type days as well, because if you can get 0 to 3 kilometer cape co-located with a surface vorticity maximum, you have an enhanced chance for landspout tornadoes. But also, because 0 to 3 kilometer cape is so important in tornado production within cold core type setups, as you can read in Jon Davies' paper from December 2006, 0 to 3 kilometer cape is extremely important in these cold core type events. And as we go through the day, just not much in the way of 0 to 3 kilometer cape until much later on, 22Z. And even this might be overdone. Because if we look at surface-based cape, it's showing over 1,000 joules per kilogram. And with upper 40s dew points max, not seeing how that's going to be possible. Let's go ahead and take a look at our Prague dew points here with this WRAP forecast. And yet showing basically upper 40s. It's the dashed blue contours, pretty much upper 40s into parts of northwest Oklahoma. So I believe that surface-based cape is overdone. And if we look at mixed layer cape, that is a different story as well. Just not much in the way of mixed layer cape. But we do see some signal at least, so there's definitely a chance for maybe a brief tornado or two up here in the Oklahoma Panhandle. later on this afternoon. If I was out chasing today, I'd probably target somewhere near the Beaver, Oklahoma area, somewhere near Guyman. As the storms form in the Texas Panhandle, Oklahoma Panhandle, they'll move right on the surface low. They'll move off to the northeast, and I think that will give you your best chance at a couple cold core tornadoes today. But again, they probably will be brief, if any tornadic activity at all. So I think if you live in Oklahoma, if you live in the area, it's a chase day. But I think you're going to be hard pressed to find anything uh, of note uh, as far as tornadic activity goes today, just because of our really poor moisture profile near the surface. All right, that's all I've got for this severe weather discussion. If you're out chasing today, good luck. Stay safe. Definitely a chance to see something today, but uh, looking ahead, definitely to more noteworthy setups coming up, hopefully in the next month, and of course in April, May, and June. So thanks again. Thanks for watching. Good luck out there today if you're chasing, and we'll see you under the next storm.